Hello, folks. Welcome back to Reality Check with Arvind Swaminathan. This week it's a little early for this particular video. Following on from what we were doing last time. The last one was the build-up. This is something which is almost, how shall I put it, earth-shattering. Realization, something which seems to have slipped under the radar, which nobody seems to have caught on to. You remember we talked about how the Democratic Party or Biden and co. and George Soros's interventions all over the place were trying to take over India. How? First getting all the chief ministers of different states in their pockets, on their side. Headed apparently by Rahul Gandhi at the center. Just like the Burgess and McLean and the, what is his name, Kim Philby affair. And later Elliot Blunt. When you have your man in very high places, the job becomes easy. Then, remember we missed one other thing. When Rahul Gandhi was in the US in September, one night, when I say night, is actually about 2 in the morning, farmers' leaders entered the US Embassy in Delhi, all huddled up with sheets covering or blankets covering their faces and so on. Why 2 in the morning? Because they didn't want anybody to see them. Unfortunately for them, they were seen. December 6th, farmers' agitation began. Why? On something which they know the central government cannot do anything about. Because agriculture is a state subject. If they want an MSP, they have to go to the state government, not the central. Now you see, all this is being pre-planned. Why? Now we come to the next bit. Hindenburg report, the market crashes. That's not a small thing. Remember, it has stopped Adani from raising money, cash on the international market. It's messed up all his plans for expansion, which for any business deal or business organization is very, very normal. Now you find Hindenburg is under a cloud. The Hindenburg company has closed down. And its founder, was it Nate Anderson? He is being called for interrogation because he seems to be involved in a fraud, mixed up with certain other companies, large ones. But the one thing that slipped under everybody's radar, the devaluation of the Indian rupee vis-a-vis the dollar. You don't understand what that means. Yes, exporters have to sell at throwaway prices. They think they're getting more orders, but they're not. Because they're getting far fewer dollars for the rupee. Importers are crying tears of blood almost because they have to pay much more in terms of the dollar. Now, if you think that's small, remember this. Those Hindenburg reports and the court summons or court case in New York County against Adani meant that the shares dropped again. Now remember, not only did GQG buy Adani into Adani companies, I think it was in 2023, 13,500 crores worth of shares, which is not a small amount. It's not exactly peanuts. Having done that, at half the normal value, thanks to the Hindenburg reports, because they bought in bulk, they got another 3 or 4% discount. But as they bought in dollars, the biggest discount came here. 1 rupee instead of 70 or 80 was now about 85 rupees to the dollar. Now that's almost a 20% discount over and above the half price sale at which he bought. They're buying Indian industry for a song. And there's only one place he can get that kind of finance. Soros, which means the Rothschilds. And why is the rupee going down further and further in value? Who's doing it? Well, there's only one particular body who has the power to do this, and they do it every day sitting in London. The string pullers, the Rothschilds. They set exchange rates every day. They set the price of gold every day in the bullion market. They set the price of metals in the metals market. And you try any industry without those. Now you understand why they're trying to take over India and how. Create disturbances inside. All these are diversions to take our mind off what they're up to. And believe me, once they take over, it will be like another colony. Now you understand why they're so dead set against BRICS. Russia, India, China, Brazil and South Africa. Why are they so against BRICS or a BRICS currency? They were hoping and trying desperately to ensure that every bit of trade in the world is conducted in dollars. Then they can control every bit of trade. You try trading without the dollar, you couldn't. And they decide how much it's worth, how much you have to pay to buy dollars. Which means they control the whole world. The New World Order. Now it's not a joke, it's not funny. I know people think I'm mad, maybe I am. You don't have to be mad to live in this world, but by Christ, it sure does help. And I know I'm not very popular, being a madman. What I see today, the rest of the world will see in a few weeks or a few months. Because it takes them time to catch on. Something they don't seem very, happy about. They don't want to think. And we in India have to be particularly careful because where do we go? What do we do if every bit of trade has to be in dollars? The Americans have let us down time and time again. For instance, the English electric engines for fighter aircraft. We still haven't arrived. I hope the penalty clause is exercised. All this is designed to sort of pull the rug out from under our feet so that we can't develop. Well, I'm hoping we do, or find our own replacement. But please remember, and I hope our finance minister also understands what's happening, because I don't think they do. Better understand what's happening and do something to stop the fall of the rupee and send it back up. Because we need to do that. If it means a BRICS economy or a BRICS currency, so be it. Because we got to have that balance between dollars and everybody else. You cannot have a monopoly like this. Otherwise, we all become an American colony or under the American jackboot. You remember what I said when the Ukrainian crisis started? So the American way of thinking, you're only free if you're under the American jackboot. And this is where it's leading. And you see, as long as all trade is in dollars, one family or one banking family benefits. The Rothschilds. Why? They have the controlling interest in the Federal Reserve Bank, or the US Federal Reserve Bank. It's not owned by the US government, by the way. Understand that. So whenever they want to buy something, they just write out a check. It has to go through their bank. Wherever you go, most of the banks they control. If they don't own all of them, they control. They have controlling interest. So make no mistake, the fall of the rupee against the dollar is blackmailing us into submission. Don't allow it to happen, please, Madam Finance Minister. Do something. I don't know what, but you better do something. Well, I don't know what else to say, but please, we're going in the wrong direction. That rupee value has to come up against the dollar. If it continues to go down, we're sunk. And none of this make in India will happen. It'll just go backwards, which is precisely what George Soros and Rahul Gandhi seem to want. They don't want us to progress. They don't want us to go forward. We do. So please, folks, put your thinking caps on and understand what's happening. Vote for the right people to give us a chance to go forward and stand on our own feet, rather than go back to being a colony of a foreign power. We've had enough of that. Let's stop that nonsense. Well, folks, the next one, I'm hoping, will be something to do with the elections in Delhi, and possibly soon after that, another one on the budget. I'm hoping this particular one goes and somebody points it out to the finance minister. Because if she doesn't understand what's going on, we're in a real mess. And it looks as if some of her advisors have already been, how shall I put it, got at. She better weed out those characters, because they're leading us all the wrong way. Okay, folks, please spread this one around as far as you can, because this particular thing, the rupee falling, it shouldn't. When we're making so many things here, why should the rupee fall? It shouldn't. Why is it? Because somebody sitting in London is making a mess of our economy. And I, for one, don't like it. I don't think anybody here should like it. Yes, the butter-uppers, the people like Stalin and Shiv Kumar and Rahul Gandhi and Arvind Kejriwal, they'd love it. Because this is exactly what the Open Society Foundation and all these guys want. And remember, I told you about the connection, the Rothschild connection with India, Amartya Sen. We're at a crossroad, a very dangerous one. I hope we take the right fork in the road. Thanks, folks. See you next time. But please do spread this one around wherever you can to all your friends, your relatives, your groups, and ask them to pass it on. Because this is an important one to understand what is happening. Ciao.